Are you drowning this morning? Are you in a crisis? Pray to God in your crisis as if God is a God of grace, uniquely positioned to help you from the outside. But I don't want to mislead you. You can't just pray. You've got to do some other things. And the other two things that Jonah does is he releases the idol behind the storm, and he responds to the grace inside the storm. Now, we looked at the second one. He responds to the grace inside the storm. But you notice also that Jonah releases the idol behind the storm. And what I mean by that is when you are in a crisis in life, those crises that are designed by God to correct you always have an idol behind the crisis. Now, not every crisis in your life is because of idolatry. Sometimes God will bring a crisis to perfect you. Sometimes God will bring a crisis to protect you. But sometimes God brings a crisis to correct you because you're doing wrong and he's got to fix it. And that's Jonah's case. Jonah was practicing idolatry. He was clinging to something other than God that he had chosen to love more than God. He found his security in himself instead of the Lord, and the Lord knew that was only going to bring destruction in Jonah's life. And so he brought this storm into Jonah's life as a way of rescuing him from himself. And the same thing's true in our life. And what you've got to come to understand is that it's not just enough to pray to God, God save me. If it's a correcting storm in your life, behind every correcting storm in your life is this willingness to cling to a worthless idol. And for a lot of us, it's a relationship. Others of us, it's a substance. Some of us, it's the approval of people. Some of us, it's a financial security. There's a million ways to worship idols. An idol is just something other than God that you choose to love more than God. It's making a good thing, an ultimate thing, something part of the creation, the Creator, finding your worth and value and security in that thing. The heart is an idol factory. We worship all kinds of idols. But God brings storms into our life so that he will expose our hearts. He will expose the idolatry of our heart, and he'll encourage us, just let go. Now, do you see there in verse 8, Jonah finally gets this, and he says, those who pay regard to vain idols forsake their hope of steadfast love. I don't like that translation. I like the NIV translation. It says, those who cling to worthless idols forfeit the grace that could be theirs. There it is. Clinging to idols, forfeit the grace. Are you drowning? Behind every correcting storm is idolatry. So let go of the idol. Jonah thought it would be better to cling to the thing that he loved more than God than to cling to the God who alone could deliver him. And we do the same. We suffer, we drown, we experience untold misery for something that ultimately just leaves us empty. We exchange the riches of God's steadfast love and grace for basically nothing. So let go of your idol.